Rev up your engines! I moved from Tennessee to Rhode Island, and guess what? Now I'm going from Rhode Island back to Tennessee. And why am I doing this? Because originally I was in Houston for 43 years. Then I moved to Tennessee to be next to the grandkids there. Now I'm in Rhode Island next to the grandkids that are in Massachusetts. And I plan on doing this for many years to come. But why Rhode Island and not Massachusetts? Well, look at the view. This is my Rhode Island view from a beautiful cottage on the ocean. And that's why I'm here on Rhode Island. Unbelievable view. Friendly people taking me for boat rides, plane rides, you name it. Brought their cars here. Had a great time. And what did I learn while I was here? Well, I learned that people everywhere are pretty much the same. They drive cars around, they got car problems, they got questions, they got vehicles they want to show off, and basically they just want to be like a normal free American. I've met first and second generation Americans that either they came here from a foreign country or their parents did, and then they worked their way up and became very successful. The American dream is still alive if people put their backbone into it. The first New Englanders that build cottages on the ocean would be totally shocked at the prices today. $1 million for a cottage on the ocean with 785 square feet. So needless to say, old Scotty's renting cottages here. I'm gonna wait until the economy starts doing a little downturn and they get these realistic figures that houses that they bought 8 years ago for $120,000 are going for $1 million today. That's not real America. That's greedy America. And let's hope that my idea comes to fruition, because with the present administration and printing money, giving money away, hyperinflation, I already see it here. It exists here. It also exists in the used car market. I just hope that that's just a temporary glitch in the machinations of our society and not a sign of the future where a loaf of bread is going to cost $100. Well, I was here in Rhode Island to help lots of people on the East Coast. Some people came as far away as from Maine and South Carolina. One guy even came from Florida. I'm still helping people out with their car problems. I'm just going to be doing it all over the place to share the wealth of information, that is. Now we're driving around here, I noticed some differences between Texas, Tennessee, and the East Coast. One, they got toll roads all over the place here, yet they have high taxes. You'd think the taxes that the poor people are already paying are enough for the roads, but no. A bunch of the roads you got to pay a toll to drive on them. And to me, that's non-American. And to make matters worse, most of them, they even got rid of the people that were collecting the money, and it's all done by computers. Just a greedy money grab. Harkens back to the olden days when people built a road in their area and then they'd have a toll to let people go on the road that they built. But hey, isn't this America? Aren't our taxes paying for the roads for everyone? And then the poor people that live here, bad enough that they have outrageous taxation, but now they gotta pay to drive on their own road. I guess old John Lennon was right there when he said, singing about the tax man, if you try to walk, they'll tax your feet. And that's happening around here. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a good thing. But going back to cars, here in the East Coast, people are just as car crazy as they are anywhere else. I was shocked at the amount of classic cars people have. They'll store them in the winter and bring them out in the summer. But the real New Englanders taught me some stuff, like this Bow Shield that you spray to stop corrosion. I saw 20-year-old Chevy trucks that weren't corroded because they use stuff like this. The classic New Englander, hey, they don't want to waste money and they want to take care of their stuff, just like everybody else. But I do have to say, I feel extremely sorry for a lot of the youngsters that live here on the East Coast because they can no longer even buy houses. I met couples that were married and they're living in the husband's parents' house in the cellar. They fixed it up, but they can't afford to buy a house with the inflated prices of houses around here these days. Well, at least the good houses in the good areas. There's plenty of cheap houses in bad areas. When I went back to my hometown of Niagara Falls, man, there's a bunch of bad areas there now. I can really foresee a coming of what happened after World War II, where everybody left the city because they were smelly and dirty and went into the new suburbia. I think there might be another start of outage from the big cities. Taxation, no room. I met so many people here from New York, Boston, and said, we're going south. Well, we're going west to Tennessee. They're sick of the taxes and not being able to afford a house. Hey, come on, the American dream is to have a house, right? If you're pricing these young people out of a house, that's the wrong thing to do, just for greed, so people can count their coins and get 5 times what they paid for a house 15 years ago. It's not the right thing. I met a lot of people here are driving old cars like me. Bought them used, save some money, take care of them. It's unfortunate they can't even get used houses and fix them up like that because the prices have gone astronomical. What's it coming to these days? Taxation without representation. You basically have Tweedledum or Tweedledee to vote for. They're all paid for by the corporations who are raking in all the money, where everyone else is paying the bill, but they're not getting their fair share. And I'm not talking about people wanting handouts. I'm talking about people who are hard workers. I met many hard workers here on the East Coast, and they're having hard times, especially the young ones. They're being priced out of things. They get out of college. They have mountains of debt. I met a few of those too. And they're worried about their debt. And all the politicians seem to care about is helping out the rich and helping out the ultra poor. What about the middle class, the backbone of the United States? We're not being treated fairly. Look at the car manufacturers. They can't make cars now because of the chip shortage, so they're deliberately giving less models to the dealerships so they can mark them up more and sell them and say, well, those are the 3 we got, take it or leave it. I even met a guy here who went to a Honda dealership and he got involved in a bidding war and he walked out. They wouldn't even give him the price of the new Honda. It was a 4-door Accord that he wanted, brand new. He went in and they started bidding wars over the price of the car, over even the MSRP. And he just walked. He said, I'm going to wait to buy a car. Forget this. I don't need to do that now. It's not the right thing to do. Short-term gain versus long-term failure. Let's start thinking about that stuff. And as for me, I'm going to continue helping everybody out with their car problems. I'm not going to stop. I helped a lot of people on the East Coast. They're sorry to see me go. But now I'll be back in Tennessee. And the people in Tennessee will like it. But then in the fall, I'll be back here in Rhode Island. Get around, help a lot of people out. People everywhere are basically the same. They just want to have a good life for themselves, their kids, their grandkids. And if I can help them out as best as possible, hey, I'm all game for it. They drive cars here the same as everywhere else. And the intelligent people around here, they all realize electrification is a long way away, if ever, for cars. Most people want to take care of their cars so they last as long as possible. But they don't want to waste money on unnecessary repairs, and that's what I'm here for. I found that the car dealers here are no different than anywhere else. They often try to take advantage of the people. Think they don't know anything about cars. Like the video I made, they tried to tell them they needed a new rear end on their all-wheel drive Sienna when there was nothing wrong. They tried to tell people that they needed a whole new suspension system to pass those ridiculous yearly inspections. But then they asked their friends, well, who do you use for an inspection? And they went somewhere else, found a guy who wasn't a crook, and then they got it inspected with no work done at all. It's the same everywhere. Granted, it's a heck of a lot colder here in the winter. I won't be hanging around here in the dead of winter. I'll be back in Tennessee then. But you want to know the truth about people around here? A whole bunch of them winter in Florida. Then they come back to Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine in the summer when it's beautiful. Even they try to ditch this place when the weather gets too tough. So if you thought old Scotty had retired, moved to the East Coast, some people even said I went to Florida. This isn't Florida. It's the same ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, that's on the east coast of Florida, but the water's a lot colder. Although I did have a couple of drums a month and a half ago and went swimming here. It was quite refreshing, I do have to say. So I'll continue helping people out, answering their car questions, looking at their cars, giving advice of what car to buy, what car not to buy. Nothing's gonna change except I'm gonna be moving around more. So look out, it's Scotty with this traveling repair show. Back on the road to Tennessee. So now I can go back to helping people in Tennessee with their car problems. But I'm still helping the entire world out, actually. I'm still doing my live car talks. You're gonna miss a couple of them while I'm traveling back to Tennessee. It's a long drive. Nothing's changed. Just my location every once in a while will flip-flop between Tennessee and Rhode Island. And I do have to say, I've acquired a taste for fried clams and stuffed clams, but only the stuffed clams that are Portuguese style. Got a little more flavor to them. I always liked New England clam chowder. It's got a nice flavor to it. I had some cod chowder. That was pretty good too. So if you see me driving down the road back to Tennessee, just wave hi. I had a guy actually pull up next to me in the New York State Thruway and rolled his window down and took my picture while I was driving here to Rhode Island. And I'll catch everybody back in Tennessee the first week of June. So it's goodbye Atlantic Ocean and hello the Cumberland River. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.